And now, you're tuned in to RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's RBLR Sports.
Welcome into RBLR Sports. My name is Musab, and we're coming into the month of April, and a lot of you, especially being in Florida, are probably saying, oh, Lord, April showers. But, hey, April showers, but, hey, we're getting some more power here, all right? The way I see it, it's almost like 2022 offseason said, hey, 2021 and all the other past seasons, hold my beer. A lot going on and a lot of reasons for you to be fired up, all right? And you best believe I'm fired up, and I got some firepower with me. On my right, rocking the black and pewter red Buccaneers socks, the one and only Santiago. How are we doing tonight, Santiago?
What's up, everybody? What's up, RBLR Nation? What's up, Musab? What's up, Carter? What's up, Eureka? What's going on? Let's talk some ball. I'm excited. We're gonna bring you the best news, Buck news. So I'm excited about this. Let's go. Go Bucks.
Always glad to have you, Santiago. And on my left, got the little Levante David limited edition salute to service jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, RBLR Nation, Carter. Carter, how we doing tonight?
Oh man, just chilling. Been chilling at home all week and really excited to get in this Bucs talk. All the draft hype is coming to a head. Some interesting stuff this past week and a lot to talk about for sure. So hype to get it going for sure.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Carter. A lot been going on. And listeners, if you're with us and if you appreciate us as much as we appreciate you, if you could do us a favor and however you're listening to this, whether it be on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, there's probably a follow button, a like button, a subscribe button, and it would seriously mean a lot here to us here at RBLR. But hey, also, we are on social media platforms at RBLR Sports. All right, we got some breaking news. Bruce Arians has stepped down as Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach. All right, and his successor will be from Todd Bowles. It's a reporter from Pro Football Talk. And also, Tampa Bay Buccaneers have also released as well some information via Twitter. Bruce Arians is transitioning to the front office as our senior football consultant. Todd Bowles has been named head coach. Carter, what's your instant reaction? How do you feel? What do you think is the cause of this? And Todd Bowles is our head coach. So, how does that make you feel?
Whew. I mean, this is big because, Bruce Arians is a heck of a head coach. I mean, he's obviously got a great pedigree. He's done a great job at Arizona and now obviously Tampa Bay. So it's tough to see him go. Obviously, with his age and with his health concerns, I don't want to say it's not a surprise, but it's definitely not exactly something I'm like, oh my gosh, this is out of nowhere. But it is a little out of nowhere because Brady comes back. I was under the full assumption, all right, it's full engines go. We're heading into this season with the whole squad back. But now, I mean, Todd Bowles obviously has previous head coaching experience, but I don't know. I mean, this is going to be interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Not only from the head coaching perspective, but do they hire another defensive coordinator? Do they just promote within?
Exactly.
So there's a lot of shifting that could happen.
There's gonna be some moves needed to be made for sure. Now, obviously, I'm thinking I don't know if this was maybe something in regards to health because he's a fellow older gentleman, but also. I have to say, though, a lot of people are already kind of reacting to this ASAP immediately. They're saying, maybe there were times that, I don't know, Bruce Arians held back Tom Brady, and this was kind of the right call. This is still allowing him to still be part of the kind of overall organization, the situation. But Todd Bowles will now have the opportunity to be head coach. I don't know, Santiago, based on what I just said, is that possible? Or, what's your instant reaction?
Well, it's very tough to see a head coach, a Super Bowl winning head coach, because of his leadership and guiding us to win a Super Bowl. Like it wasn't just Tom Brady. This is a team. You need a good head coach, and he is a really good coach. So, yeah, he is older, and he's been in the league. I just saw that. I'm seeing the news obviously right now on NFL Network and obviously on Buccaneers.com. He's been in the league for 50 years now, for the last 50 years. So and obviously with COVID still going on, and we want maybe he decided that maybe he wanted to do. Maybe they were talking, because they all talk, him and Jason Light, and maybe they wanted to put him in a more safer position, possibly.
Perhaps. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was. This is definitely interesting. There's going to be, Carter, you said it the best. There's definitely going to be some moves all around that are going to be going on the whole office, front office, back office. I don't know. This is interesting to see just because now, Todd Bowles is now, the captain of the ship, or along with Tom Brady, of course. But yeah, he's the head coach. So my instant reaction is just, wow, first, I'm just thinking, maybe on the health perspective. I don't think that it was ever a time that there was kind of some need to cause like some rifts, between Arians and Brady or anything like that. Um, I just think that it was possibly just kind of health related, and I think Arians still wants to be part of this. They still want him to be part of this, and they're just going to give Todd Bowles a shot. That's just my kind of gut reaction, and that's all I really just have to say. Where shall we begin, gents? How about some free agent updates? All right. Well, the first one I kind of want to just put out there. We got Josh Wells, offensive lineman. He's back. I want to hear what are your quick overall thoughts. Didn't see too much action, but let's start off with you, Carter. What do you think?
Yeah, just a solid backup. He's been around the Bucs for, I feel like, my entire life. I'm 22 years old, and I feel like every year I see Josh Wells, backup tackle. But yeah, he's been in the league for 8 years now, and he spent the majority of it with the Bucs. He's been great. He does a lot of those. When the Bucs want to run a jumbo package or something, they bring Wells in to kind of have an extra blocker, since they have such great wide receiver playmakers. They don't really need an additional guy out there. So he's been great in that. And excited to bring him back onto the Bucs. It's definitely a good pickup, good re-signing.
All right. And what about you, Santiago? How do we feel about this?
Yeah, I'm excited about that too, and even though, he hasn't really, for example, he hasn't really, played that many games, but he's a consistent player. In the league, so between Jacksonville and Tampa, so I'm excited. We have another veteran coming back, so another leader.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, that's always nice to always have a returner. But my kind of first immediate thoughts are more like, he's pretty only saw limited action. But I guess, as I just said, having depth familiar with the system is always nice to have. So I kind of want to immediately kind of go on to the next guy, just because he's related also another offensive lineman. That is Fred Johnson. Given they just signed Fred Johnson as well, I'd imagine, guys, that this is maybe something we're just going to have to see, a camp battle, really. We might snag some other, undrafted free agents. I don't know, maybe someone in the 6th or 7th. I don't know. Maybe you guys defer. But Santiago, let's go with you first. So what? Josh Wells. Now we got Fred Johnson as well. The way I see it is it's just depth, but do you see anything else?
No, he really hasn't played that many games. So, like what happened last year, we had some injuries throughout the season. So, can definitely, if somebody goes down, he can definitely, be somebody that can take over, because his position is, he's a big boy too. He's a guard. So, he's a undrafted free agent coming out of Florida. So, yeah. And, honestly, I'm going to tell you something, that any player that comes to the team, they're coming back to help us go, to win a Super Bowl. That's the main reason. Everybody, there's a the famous saying this year. It says unfinished business. That's the main saying that they're probably going to have in the locker room, like spray painted, or in the training center, unfinished business. Like, we should have been in the Super Bowl last year, but because of some incidents that happened with like AB and like, Chris Godwin going down and stuff, that we were missing some key players, that really, messed us up, and we couldn't go to the Super Bowl, because we were beaten by one really crazy play, and to end the game versus LA. So, but yeah, it's he's another player that can give us like some sort of a depth there.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, that's really honestly the way I just see it. Carter, Santiago, I wouldn't be surprised if any of these guys, I mean, Wells or Fred Johnson, unfortunately have to be let go or something, just because I don't know. We're going to try to snag some more guys. Again, I just said it's going to be a camp battle for sure. But Carter, is there anything else to add maybe?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of ho-hum. He's a versatile offensive lineman. He can play, on the outside. He can be a tackle because he's got the height, 6'7". I mean, not a lot of guards at 6'7", but he's played guard, so it's kind of nice to have a guy that can line up on the interior or on the outside. So yeah, just another depth piece.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, though, gentlemen, we will be losing a depth piece on the running back end, and that is Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones is headed to the Kansas City Chiefs, so it's a little unfortunate. I don't know. The way I see it, guys, is he's a fine back, but has some issues with the pass blocking, which is one reason probably Leonard Fournette held on to that RB1 role. All right, even after Jones returned back to kind of 100%, kind of fully healthy or whatever. We had to make a move. I guess we kind of put more trust in playoff Lenny, regular season Lenny, whatever you want to call him. But Carter, how do you feel about this though?
Yeah, I mean, it felt like the divorce was on the way. Felt like you could kind of see it coming. Bringing back playoff Lenny pretty much was a kind of a subtle note to Ronald Jones to maybe find elsewhere to play. Yeah, so I'm thinking this more from the Chiefs perspective, simply because the Chiefs are a potential Super Bowl opponent for the Bucs, and it's just weird, man. They spend the first-round pick on Clyde Edwards-Helaire 2 years ago. He's kind of been hurt all the time when they really could have used an offensive lineman, especially in that game against the Bucs. So now they're trying to kind of fix that mistake with Ronald Jones, and I don't know if that's going to work either. But, we'll see. We'll see. It's definitely interesting to see how both teams move forward.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing, what we're going to be doing on our running back side. But, I mean, I got to say, I don't know. Andy Reid has never really been good at just utilizing just one main, running back. He always likes to kind of have some balance at that position. So I guess that's what he was going for. But, Santiago, what about you? What do you think about this?
Yeah, I was always high on playoff Lenny, because of how well he's been playing for us and how dominant he's been playing for us, and helping us go to the Super Bowl, and doing those explosive runs for us. Ronald Jones, yeah, he really never had a shine, with our team, of course, but obviously, we're playing them this year, so please, I don't want him to explode on us in that game. Just explode on somebody else. Don't explode on us. You know what I mean? Like, because sometimes those running backs, when they want to play their former team, they want to be like, oh, I want to show you what you're missing out on. So but other than that, like, and plus running backs, we can see what we can get in possibly in the draft. Maybe a better draft pick. For a back. But I don't think he was gonna ever really do much more for us. Because we were keen on keeping Leonard Fournette.
Absolutely. I guess you're probably on that more. Honestly, Carter, I should put it the best way. That little divorce. That's kind of the best way to put it. That's kind of the way I see it too. At one point, it kind of came that listen, it's time to let him go. So, yeah, I think we're all on the same page. Well, I think we can just find someone else, or unfortunately, it just didn't work out. Whatever. Maybe there's some other reasons, behind the office and with all the money, whatever. But I have to say, we're in for a treat, and it's definitely sad to see him go though, just because he came through big time. I'll never forget that way. He had 98-yard run, but I gotta say, all right, well, it's time to move on to the future, though. All right, what's happened has happened. All right, we got Fred Johnson, we re-signed Josh Wells. Fortunately, we gotta let go of Ronald Jones, but let's see who we can get, though. All right, and let's see who we can get in the draft. This week we're gonna be looking at our defensive backs, cornerbacks, and safeties. And first off, I want to go into is our cornerback side. Carter. So let's just go over real quick. I kind of want to just kind of have a little refresher with the whole draft situation. We got a round 1, pick 27, round 2, pick 28, round 3, pick 27, round 4, pick 28, round 7, pick 27, and round 7, pick 40. So Carter, where are you kind of looking at, this kind of position? Where do we want to prioritize it? Ideally based on the kind of guys you're looking at. But specifically, is there kind of like one kind of skill or kind of attribute that that you're kind of looking really big into? You're looking for a guy who has length, maybe someone who's kind of a little mini bulldog or something. Talk to me. What are you thinking?
Well, it's interesting because the cornerback position took, as we all know, such a big hit last season with all the injuries. I mean, it felt like either one of them or all of them were out at one point in the season. It just was, there was someone new on the injury list every week. It was a tough thing to watch. So I think that also Jamel Dean and Sean Murphy-Bunting are pending free agents soon, so they're going to have to replace them regardless of whether or not they get hurt this season. So I think it's going to be a relatively high priority. I don't know if it's a first or a second round priority necessarily, but I think the third or the fourth round might be the sweet spot along with the tight end position. And a big thing for the Bucs seems to be tackling, and I'm not really sure why they always seem to draft such great tackling corners, but they do. They seem to place a high priority on run support in the secondary, which, as we've seen, it can come back to haunt them in the passing game because they tend to give up a lot of yards through the air. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I guess if you're looking at specific guys, like there's Cordell Flott out of LSU, a third round, maybe fourth round guy. He's pretty good. Kale Wright is probably my favorite. He's a little on the smaller end, but he's more versatile. He can play the slot. He can play outside. So I think that would be a really, really nice piece in the fourth round to get. Mikhail Wright is probably my sleeper, my biggest target for the Bucs, kind of, especially just because of his value. And the fact that he could potentially step in for either Jamel Dean or Carlton Davis or Sean Murphy-Bunting on the inside. So I'm really excited to see who they go with for sure.
All right. And what about you, Santiago? Who you looking at? What are you thinking about the whole kind of draft situation and, specifically at this position of cornerbacks?
Yeah, man. Like, similar. I agree with what Carter just said. Like being that we had an issue with injuries last year. Definitely, I would like to see. I would like to see us, get a cornerback in the draft. That's definitely if that's a need that we're looking at because of injuries and stuff like that. Injury prone some of our corners that were injured, last year. Obviously they have to be evaluated and everything like that. So, how about Roger McCreary from Auburn? And any type of player that's coming from the SEC, I pretty look high on because the competition that they're getting all the time, because they're playing against literally that's like the best division in football. So and plus McCreary is an ultra smooth corner who rarely succeeds much separation. He's been battle tested with 75 targets, but has allowed only 34 catches in 13 pass breakups. So it's and we're definitely looking at the draft here. Since if we're talking about like third or fourth round, right? You're thinking about when I'm looking at the mock drafts and stuff like that, I'm not looking at like the top cornerbacks because possibly, you just never know. They may just be selected. So obviously I'm looking at cornerbacks that are like closer to like middle or, down the list to see who can be possibly available during that time. And I do like SEC, any type of player from the SEC I do like. So.
I like that. Yeah, I also was thinking of Roger McCreary as well when it came to cornerbacks. Now, ideally, I don't know if we're going to be able to get. We'll see. I mean, how the whole draft turns out. I'm also going to have to say, Santiago, don't be surprised if players kind of move up and down for whatever reason, just because a lot of these guys have different kind of little skills here and there. Now, Roger McCreary, I kind of like him just because when I was actually watching his tape, just because I was looking at the list and I was like, all right, who can kind of fit? He was up there. People were saying, hey, it's kind of a little size issue, but he makes up for it. So I said, all right, well, let's see, and I like it. He plays fearlessly, super aggressive, and he's kind of very kind of overall just kind of disruptive. He's always able to kind of do something. That's what it was. That's what I was seeing on his highlight reel was, he was always able to kind of stop it in some way or another. Now, when it came to the whole tackling situation, is he like an amazing tackler? Not really, but I don't know if that is something that we need to prioritize super in this kind of position. But I have to say, size would be nice. Size would be nice. What do you think, Carter? Are you interested in the whole kind of size? Is that something that's kind of important to you? Just because I don't know. I mean, our guys aren't the biggest either.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because you look at the Bucs division, and there's not a lot of talent in general in the wide receiver room. I mean, they're the best wide receiver arguably in the NFC South, not on the Bucs, is Michael Thomas, maybe DJ Moore. And DJ Moore's a decent athlete, but man, Michael Thomas is Tyreek Hill. He is not exactly a burner out there. So, if you're looking strictly at division types of matchups, just playing the odds because you play them 6 times a year, the size might be a little more important. Just because, Michael Thomas is a physical presence. Kyle Pitts on the Falcons, what he can do. But, looking at the division at this point might also be a moot point because they're going to win the division with their eyes closed. So, maybe you look towards guys that'll match up more against wide receivers that are on Super Bowl contenders like the Rams. But it's just difficult because with those elite wide receivers, you could draft any type of cornerback and they're probably going to have trouble stopping them. So, yeah, I mean, size would be nice, but, guys like Tyrann Mathieu have proven that size can be overrated sometimes. If you got that toughness, the ability to disrupt plays, size isn't really as important as it used to be for sure.
I have to say, I mean, adding on to your size, I have to say, if not McCreary, I do like another guy that's Mario Goodrich from Clemson. And only because, if we are talking size, not the tallest guy, I mean, he's 6 feet, but 190. He's kind of like a stout run defender. He's got some speed on him for sure. In fact, I came to find out he actually did pretty darn well at the Senior Bowl too. So, overall, kind of the super active guy. Dabo Swinney had a lot of good things to say about him as well. Definitely maybe someone to, maybe think about in that. But Carter, I have to agree with you. This is definitely, I don't know if something I want to focus on in the first round or second round. But Santiago, maybe you think differently. Where do you kind of put these guys kind of in the draft? And is there anyone else maybe specifically kind of, in the later rounds maybe? You're telling me you have a little list or something. Obviously, maybe someone like Sauce Gardner may not be like a choice that we'll be able to snag. But anyone else?
Yeah, I mean, also, like, if we're talking about cornerbacks and, how about Marcus Jones from Houston? From looking at, his, looking him up and analyzing him and checking his, what he's done, what he's doing, or what he's did through college. And something that will help us on the Bucs definitely would be, a punt returner, and also for kicks and pretty much analyzing here. It says that Jones not only the best kick punt returner in the draft, but also a playmaking all around the cornerback. So, that's something that's good. And he's not really ranked high. He's kind of ranked like low, but, somebody like that, we can definitely pick up for sure.
So you're saying maybe someone with a little bit more added skill. You're saying, I mean, we're talking
Exactly.
about returns,
Yeah.
kick returns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
I like
it's something that
okay.
it's somebody that can help us out, with more different. He can be in different areas. For example, I
Right.
couldn't bring out. It's
Okay.
not just doing one thing. Like, he can help us out also on special teams if he's doing punt returner, kick returner, because that's also something that will help us in the long run. Somebody that can, because we need. Sometimes it's kind of rough when you have a punt returner that can't really gain yards, and that's that's a big difference in winning games and
Yeah.
not.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I'll say this though, Santiago. I mean, if this guy, I mean, I guess it's kind of nice that you're saying that he's able to do a few other things as well, just because that gives him more opportunities. But that is definitely something we'll definitely have to look into. I didn't think about that at first, but interesting for you to say, gentlemen. I also want to know though. Let's say we get a cornerback. Is there any chance maybe we get two, just because of the whole kind of defensive back need situation right now we have going on? Carter.
Yeah, I mean, Santiago brought up a great point with the special teams. You want guys that are going to be able to contribute on that side of the ball, especially if you're, like you mentioned, drafted two corners, which I think is a distinct possibility. You want guys that are going to be willing to put in the work and, willing to do all the little things. And, they might spend 2 draft picks, but if they do that, then it's more likely that they're going to spend one of their 7th rounders on the second corner. One of the big sleepers in the 7th round that made kind of, I don't want to say a big splash, but, a bigger splash than I think people expected was Josh Thompson. He had that 4.43 40 time, which is kind of crazy for a guy that's projected to go that low. And, he was a 5-year player at Texas, established himself as a leader, really good locker room presence. I think he would be a solid guy to just take a flyer on in the 7th round. And I think like you said, it's a distinct possibility that they spend 2 draft choices on this position just because of how, brutally just taken apart by injuries this portion of the team was last season. So, yeah, I mean, I would love to see him spend maybe a middle round pick and then a super late round pick on this position. I think that would work out well.
All right. I like that. Yeah. It's a possibility the way I see it. But I don't know. There's some other possibilities as well. We also have some other needs. Just because I mean, it's our number 3 right now. So, but then again, we also have some depth pieces though. So it's something to think about. So I like what you said there, Carter. On to the other kind of position that I also want to dig deep into. And that's our safety situation. I have to say, none of these guys will be able to just, come on in and try to just be, the next kind of Logan Ryan or Jordan Whitehead. But is there anyone that you're looking at specifically, Santiago, based on, our priority situation, which is number 3, and then our picks, in each round?
Well, yeah. I mean, that right there, definitely. If I would love to select, possibly, a Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame. He's 6'4", 220 pounds. He's a modern hybrid defender who can do whatever is asked. So that's something that's good, because if he's able to, again, like we were just talking about cornerbacks, help out in different positions, be versatile, right? then that could be, that could help us, again, help us get to Super Bowl. And I say Super Bowl, I bring Super Bowl all the time because when we were not so sure if Tom Brady was coming back, right? And then he gave us a surprise that we all wanted, you know what I mean? About I'm back, like when you think about Jack Nicholson, here's Tommy, so yeah, definitely would, look at that, look at him for sure. What about you?
I'm gonna say from the top of my head, it's I'm thinking, how much do we want to prioritize this? And I'm thinking maybe, probably another, kind of like round 3 or 4 or something, ideally, but you never know. And the first guy I have is Kirby Joseph from Illinois. Only just because, again, he's up there, amazing kind of performance he's had at Illinois. He has some size to him as well, but he's 6 foot tall. He's got a wingspan of 6'8", and racked up 5 interceptions, this last season at Illinois. So I like him a lot, and that's kind of my first guy. But Carter, where do you kind of see this, this position going down in our draft picks, and who's your guy?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because they just signed Logan Ryan, and he's obviously going to take a lot of snaps at that safety position. They've still got Antoine Winfield and Mike Edwards, so they've got a pretty solid starting group of safeties out there. And I think they really like all 3 of them, as they should. Those are 3 guys that could really start at the safety position at any given time. So I'm with you. I don't know that they'll spend a very high draft choice on this position, but they could spend a 7th round pick on someone. And I think a big guy that I would love to see, just as kind of a sleeper guy who got hurt this past season, and then 2020, obviously there wasn't really much football to watch with COVID and everything, is Trey Sterling. He suffered a wrist injury right before 2021. He was projected to be like a 3rd, a 4th, or a 5th round guy, but then after that wrist injury, he couldn't play all year, so that was tough for his draft stock. And he could be a guy that could be available in the 7th round, which is kind of crazy to think about because, like I said, he was really supposed to be not a high draft choice, but a pretty solid guy. Solid size, 6 foot, 205. He's got a 4.65 40, which isn't great, but it's there, and I think he'd be a great safety piece just to take a flyer on. Same with the previous mention, Josh Thompson out of Texas. Just a couple of guys to spend a 7th round pick on, just to kind of shore up the secondary for sure.
Okay, I like that. I like how you kind of have some 7th rounders. Santiago, who you kind of looking at with the whole safety situation? Listen, Carter's got his, kind of little 7th rounders. Are you also kind of thinking the same page, or you're thinking, hey, let's maybe actually see what we can maybe do, round 3 to 5, or round 3 to 4?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it's like obviously with any type of position, even from the first round on, starting from the first round, we have, they're definitely looking and analyzing every team after their selection to see who's the best, available choice. And saying that, if around that time, if we need to, obviously, if there are any really good options at safety, for example, like Lewis Sign from Georgia, or like the player that you just talked about, yourself. So a Kirby Joseph from Illinois, right? If they're available and because they're high, when you look at different mock drafts, they are high in those positions. I would definitely, if the money is, if it's good for business, right, for us to get that type of position, and then why not? It's it will definitely help us for sure. So.
Okay, all right, I like that. If there's one thing I have to say, there's one guy a little bit more on my realistic side, just because Kirby Joseph may be kind of tough. I do think that he will be gone earlier, but I'm thinking Joey Blunt. All right, safety from Virginia. pretty tall guy. He stacks up at 6'2". He's just had honestly just a super, super productive career at Virginia. And I just think that, he has potential more than anything. He has a lot of experience. Okay. He actually took advantage of a little fifth season at UVA. So a lot of experience. Hopefully he can just transition easily into the NFL. Obviously he's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows, of course, but I think, if anything, it kind of turns out to be maybe hopefully a reliable depth piece maybe in the future if it kind of works out well and he ends up with us. But we'll see what happens. As I already asked before with the whole cornerback thing, is there something maybe special you're looking in any of these guys? Whether it be, I don't know, speed, size, kind of height or something like that, or maybe based on, free safety, strong safety. Is there anything, that you're going to like, hey, I'm hoping that this guy kind of picks up on this small hole that we have in our safety position?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like they probably go strong safety more than free safety, more of a run support guy, just because Logan Ryan is certainly a zone kind of safety. He's not really he's not excuse me, he's not terrible in the run, but he's not nearly as adept as Jordan Whitehead was last year. I mean, he was a monster. They got the grave diggers, and he was certainly part of that. And he's not going to be, they're not going to find someone to replace him by no means. But yeah, definitely more surefire tackler. So the strong safety position is definitely the way to go. But the safety position has evolved so much over the years. Like I was mentioning earlier, size is just not as important as it used to be. And the safety position is especially, you can definitely look at that position and see that that's the case. So yeah, just a sure tackler, someone that's going to disrupt things. That's really what you're looking for. Just someone that makes the sure tackle and can kind of work his way into the holes. So I'm definitely looking forward to the Bucs go with.
For sure, dude. I totally agree with you. Tackling and then also kind of just focusing on overall just execution. I want to see someone super disruptive as well, but also, yeah, a good tackler. Yeah, those are kind of obviously, I feel like just the obvious big things, but you can always, there's always room for improvement. But I don't know, Santiago, minus that, minus being disruptive, all right, being obviously an amazing tackler. Is there anything else that you're like, hey, we're a little, we're looking a little off on this, or hey, our guys are, kind of lacking some size. I don't know. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking is Musa and Carter. I want somebody to be a week one starter. I want them to, get in there and, learn the playbook, learn their position, and, be dominant and not be pushed over by wide receivers, like the wide receiver. Because, we're playing, whether I know we said this last week that we know that we are going to be we're going to be dominant in our own division, but we have some other tough competition coming in, like the Chiefs, the Rams, so and then going into the playoffs, because I know we're going to make the playoffs, right? We definitely we need somebody that is not going to be a pushover, for example, right? We just gave some names of some safeties, and if any of those safeties are available for that during that time of the draft, whether it's, hey, let's say we want to get a draft pick in the second, I don't know, in the third round, fourth round, right? If Kirby's available, definitely, and he's, why not, right? Well, if it's something that we're looking for. But, again, we were looking at this before, right? Get a guard or, strengthen up like the front line, defensive and offensively, you know what I'm saying?
There's definitely like other
know,
positions to prioritize for sure.
So if there's really nothing there for safeties in the draft, maybe we can go undrafted after. But I want to see us protect Tom Brady. You know what I mean? I don't want him to get injured.
Okay.
I want him to be protected.
Oh yeah.
That's
So you're more on the lines. You're already focusing on the guys protecting Brady. Okay, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
There will be definitely a day for that. That where we talk about Tom's knight in shining armors. But I also have to say though, maybe this is just something we're gonna have to kind of dig deep on more than anything, guys. I want to see a quick learner or something. I want to see a guy who's kind of ready to be thrown in the dog pound and ready to fight more than anything. A lot of these guys who already have experience, like I'm thinking of my guy, Joey Blunt. All right. Those people like that, like the Red Cup, the experience and all like that. But while I'm also kind of, looking more into these kind of safety cornerback profiles, trying to find the right guy. Maybe you are too, but you know what you can also do, ladies and gentlemen? Maybe you can go on shop.rblrsports.com. Oh, why is that, Musa? Because liking and subscribing is free. But if you need some new threads, support us out, all right? You can head on over, as I just said, shop.rblrsports.com, and you can check out all of our cool, sick, awesome, fresh designs we got cooked up for you. Let me tell you something, all right? We got colors in all of our beloved teams, designing, on our football teams, hockey team, soccer team, and our baseball team. Let me bless you with the promo code as well. That Cannons, CANNONS, for 10% off your order. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a link right in the description. All right. So, gentlemen, on to our next little subject, just out of maybe curiosity, just based on everything that's been going on in our division, with Tom Brady being back. I have to ask, what's going on with our kind of QB situation just in regards to the draft? Just because I want to say this, look, is this something we want to look into? I don't know. Carter?
Yeah, I can say without an inch of doubt, a resounding no. They might go undrafted. They might spend one of those 7th-round picks on a quarterback. But my goodness, if they have Tom Brady and they spend 2 straight years of draft capital on the quarterback position, that's tough. That's all I'll say. But it's interesting looking at this year's quarterback class. It's the weaker ones we've seen. It's one of the weaker QB classes that I can think of in recent memory. So, having a guy like Kyle Trask as opposed to having to maybe try to take a swing at, Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis out of Liberty. Although actually Malik Willis is starting to grow on me as I've seen him, work out and everything. But it's still, Kyle Trask was obviously such a great success at Florida. He had a great career, or great couple of seasons, I should say, I guess. But if Kyle Trask were getting drafted this year, he'd be a 1st-rounder easily. So, drafting him at the end of the 2nd round last season, who knows? Obviously Jason Light has his job and I don't have his job for a reason, and I guess that's why. So, it's interesting. I would be very surprised to see them go quarterback again, like I said, but, who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the same page with you just because, with the whole kind of, we're dropping capital on 2 quarterbacks back to back in the draft is definitely interesting. But I guess maybe I was like, oh, maybe are they thinking about just maybe getting rid of Trask if that's even a possibility? But clearly not, just because, we haven't seen him. All right, we still got to see him. And, listen, the quarterback situation is a huge kind of very interesting room right now, especially in the year of 2022. And all I really have to say is if there is anyone that, might kind of, is going to have a good future, it's only going to be maybe like 1 or 2 of them. And maybe 1 or 2 of them are going to be like in the earlier rounds. So, no way it's going to really happen. And, if there's anyone thinking, oh, but, maybe we can risk it or something. And just because someone seems like a special gem, we'll get someone in the 6th round, just like, the Pats got Brady in the 6th round. But no way, Jose. Brady's a GOAT. No one like Brady. And we can't dig too deep. We got Trask, we got other positions to focus on. So I don't know. But Santiago, I have to say, before I kind of just transition on to the next topic, just because I feel like Carter and I are on the same page. I don't know. Maybe do you have any different thoughts?
No, I mean, because who do we have who do we have as our main quarterback? Everybody knows. The whole world knows it's Tom Brady. So Kyle Trask, maybe a quarterback, is probably going to be the one. He's going to have 2 rings in his memorabilia room in his house. That one right now. But I'm just saying, like, because we're going to win the Super Bowl this year. That's just my opinion. But he'll have another ring, right? And I'm sorry that I'm jumping like this way early, but it's just with a lot of the players that are coming back and new additions that we have from we're the strongest. I believe we're the strongest team, and so
You're fired up. You're fired up
we're-
just like I am,
I'm
Santiago.
I'm
I feel
super
it,
fired
man.
up.
I feel
I'm
it.
fired up. I got the creamsicle, my
Oh yeah.
creamsicle Bucko Bruce, and I want to see Tom Brady in that Bucko Bruce because I want to get that creamsicle Brady jersey. That's one that I want from my collection. And obviously, maybe Tom Brady can get one of those RBLR shirts. You know what I mean? Like, hey Brady. But
I hope one day. I hope one day maybe he gives us a shot and he listens to RBLR here. So.
but
Well, hey, I have
but
to say though, since we're talking quarterbacks, I want to mention, yeah, Andy Dalton has signed with the New Orleans Saints. I want to know what your overall thoughts on just because I mean, yeah, listen, this is a division rival we're talking about. The quarterback situation was looking rather very odd 5 weeks ago. Okay, we were thinking, oh, well, who's going to be our quarterback? Falcons, Panthers, Saints. No one knew what was going on, and obviously things are falling into place now. So I guess those were one of their little puzzle pieces that they finally got, and that is Andy Dalton. Carter, what are your overall thoughts on this? What does this mean to you?
I don't know if it means much, but because they got Jameis there, and Jameis is not going to lose the starting position to Andy Dalton, with all due respect to Andy Dalton. Although I don't know if there's any due respect to Andy Dalton. But anyways, it's just another kind of blech quarterback NFC South. I mean, good Lord, Marcus Mariota, Sam Darnold, and Andy Dalton. I mean, that's just a tough list right there. But, I mean, in case Jameis gets hurt again, he tore his ACL last season, so it's just insurance. Also a way to get Taysom Hill to just be a tight end, because I think if Saints fans have to watch Taysom Hill try to start another game at the quarterback position, they might cancel Mardi Gras or something, because good Lord, that guy is not a quarterback. But Sean Payton's gone. They're not married to that situation anymore. So yeah, Taysom Hill is going to be a skill position player, whatever, maybe a little gadget guy. So yeah,
I am nothing but impressed by Taysom Hill based on his abilities to play like all the positions. So I guess I was actually seeing that someone was like, "Oh, great. Now, Taysom Hill can focus on the other like 10, 15 positions he plays."
I think you're impressed by Taysom Hill because when he plays quarterback, that means that the Bucs usually win those games.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is. But hey, listen, I don't know. Some people say that I don't know. Maybe Andy Dalton's and as Ryan Fitzpatrick. He just gets paid millions to travel from team to team or something like that. But listen, with that said, though, Dalton is a very good backup to have. A lot of starting experience. Generally, kind of knows what to do. And I mean, I don't know if he has a good O line protecting him. I don't see why not. But I mean, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, Winston is like, he's fine, and then ooh, yay, they got another good guy or something. I don't know how it's gonna really work out. Definitely an upgrade at backup. I'm only gonna say this in regards to their whole little quarterback situation, is that should be the nail in the coffin to confirm that they're not going to be taking a quarterback anytime soon or anything. So if anything, they need to be looking at a top tier wide receiver. So especially with this, being done. But Santiago, what are your overall thoughts on this? How does this make you feel? I don't know. I mean, as we were just saying, I guess a solid backup behind Winston. Is this going to be just like our next time we play him? Is this going to be another little like Trevor Siemian story? Oh no, Winston gets injured. Oh yay, solid backup. Great, he beats us.
yeah, you're right. I mean, he was a starter when he was in Cincinnati. But then he got he went around a couple more teams, and but yeah, he is a strong quarterback. If Winston goes down, you definitely never want to see any type of athlete, a pro football player of any kind to go down with an injury, of course, because it's such. But definitely when this happened, it's just that we're so ahead right now, and yes, the Saints have been a thorn in our sides for like ever, right? But still, this year, this is going to definitely be the year that I can see us win in Tampa here at home at Ray J and in New Orleans. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be that they're going to blow us out because you always have to, and also you have to have a good coach. And who do they have as a coach? As you were just talking about right now, Sean Payton. And Sean Payton, he's a Super Bowl winning coach. So I mean, he has that experience. He knew the Bucs had played against the Bucs. So again, I don't see anything really. It's like Tom Brady. Thank God he's back. That's pretty much what I think.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's like
No, I know.
yeah.
I know you are definitely a huge advocate for Tom Brady, Santiago. Just like us all, like 5 million Buccaneers fans. But no, listen, I will say this though, Santiago. I didn't immediately think of the whole kind of Sean Payton being gone. So that is definitely, I mean, yeah, Sean Payton we're talking about. So it's gonna be a different system, and the fact that they're kind of having these interesting moves in Carter. I don't know how much I have that much dislike as much as you do for Sam Darnold, Mariota, and Andy Dalton kind of joining our division. But it's all I got to say is, whatever, it's a little upgrade for them. Yay, whoop-de-doo. They need to focus on a top-tier wide receiver now. And that's, bada bing, bada boom. That's kind of really about it. But
I don't mean to hate on all those.
No. Hey,
they're
listen,
just not very good.
That's your job. That's your job. That's my job. That's
Right.
Santiago's job. We're Buccaneers fans, all right? We're supposed to put our rivals down. Well, hey, maybe this put you down. Maybe this, uplifted you, and that is the new postseason overtime rule. Just to kind of give you a little gist of it. If the score remains tied, all right, or gets retied in overtime after one possession each, and the first team scores to break the tie on the third possession. Team A scores, okay, or no, Team A doesn't score, okay, Team B doesn't score. All right, well, if Team if Team A gets a score again, so be it. Boom, game over. All right. Now, again, as I just said, the rule change will not affect the regular season. I want to hear your overall thoughts, though. I only have one kind of little quick thing, but I want to start out with you, Santiago. I don't know. Does this mean anything to you? It's in the postseason, so not anything we have to think about immediately, but I don't know. New rule, new interesting rule, definitely can be a defector of all emotional roller coasters, because I know a lot of people get frustrated in the past, especially in the postseason, just because their team lost because of the rules at the time with overtime. But Carter, how do we feel about the whole overtime situation?
So I mean, it's interesting because if anyone has benefited from the old overtime rules, it has been Tom Brady. He's got that 28-3 comeback where they scored on the James White touchdown to end the game. He had the game against Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, 3 years ago when they won against LA. It's just it's really interesting. It should be a lot of fun because that Chiefs-Bills game last year was insane, just back and forth. So, you hated that it ended the way it did. But, yeah, I mean, it should be exciting. It'll be good to know that, if the Bucs go into an overtime situation in the playoffs, that they won't have to, pray that the football gods give them a good coin toss. It was a ridiculous rule. I hope that they eventually change it for the regular season too, because regular season games aren't playoff games, but sometimes they matter. So
Absolutely, especially at the end of the season for sure.
Yeah,
I was gonna say something. My bad. My opinion. I don't know. I had it on mute somehow, but with my opinion about that is that like I saw a lot of people talk on social media, that they were not happy. But, I want to see this happen, because you're right. Like, obviously if we get the ball first and we score, woohoo, we can go down, get a field goal, and then, we can score. But yeah, like what happened with the Chiefs game last year, versus the Bills, yeah, obviously, we were out of the playoffs, right? I mean, we lost, right? But I know, but when you see a team like Buffalo, like play a fantastic game like they did, and then they lose like that, you know what I mean? Okay, you lost, but it's just
Yeah, it's
that,
a little unfair, huh?
it's a little bit exactly, because there were a lot of people like, man,
Yeah.
they want to see Buffalo, they wanted to see the Bills in the Super Bowl, possibly, if you're a team that goes to the Super Bowl 4 times and there's more than one, like the Bills, the Minnesota Vikings and stuff like that, and you don't win one Super Bowl out of those 4 attempts, people, they get frustrated. I love my Bucs that, that we've been to Super Bowl twice, and guess what? We have a 100% record. You know what I mean? We're 2-0. You know what I mean?
I like that.
I like that. And I know when we go to the Super Bowl this year coming up, and that's what I believe. We're going to make it 3-0. We're going to be perfect at the Super Bowl because that's what we do. We're the first ones to win at home, and we're going to be perfect. So that's what I want to see.
Well, just like the whole little postseason overtime rule, I hope you are just as fired up as you are in the postseason as well, Santiago. I love it. One aspect of the change I do like, gentlemen, is kind of the sudden kind of thought of, all right, we're gonna have to play this strategically because I'm gonna assume that teams are actually gonna want to elect to kick off after the winning, the coin flip now, so that their offense knows if they need a touchdown, a field goal to win, or tie on the second possession. That's my kind of little thing that, okay, I do like that, other than also it being fair and square. You both get a shot, and then after that, it's may the best man win, whatever it takes. So those are my overall thoughts.
That's a great point. I didn't even think about it like that, honestly. Because you think about the college football overtime rules, which are a little goofy, because you'd be starting at the 25, which is a little weird, but it's still, it's like you said, it's fair. It's a lot. It's just not the weird, especially now with how explosive offenses are. Like if you get the ball, you're going to score a touchdown more times than not if you have an elite quarterback like a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes or a Tom Brady. So, it's just, it gives teams a fair shot, which is always what you want to see. You never want to see a game end like the Bills-Chiefs game did, where you just feel like you were robbed of a great ending. But that point was really important to make, because I agree with you. I think that's going to be a big thing, because you don't want to, it's such a huge momentum changer to go out there and score a touchdown, but then, man, give up a touchdown to tie the game up, it could just be so deflating. And it's just like, ugh, well, shoot, what do we do now? So, yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, I think it's something we're not gonna be really thinking about. I mean, I don't know at all, just because we only got off season, preseason, regular season. But one day, maybe just one day, I wouldn't be surprised this upcoming season or this upcoming postseason, fans of whatever team are gonna be like, oof, thank God we put that rule in, So, and that's when it matters the most. So that's what I like. Well, hey, I'll say this though. This kind of just wraps it up, and I would really want to say I couldn't possibly, end this whole episode without saying thank you to our listeners. All right, if you enjoyed this episode and you want to support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, leave a rating or a review. All right, to catch all the latest, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter. All right, Facebook. We are at RBLR Sports. All right. And also all the other podcast platforms, as mentioned before. Spotify. You don't have Spotify, not a problem. We are also on Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and other major podcast platforms. All right. The weather is getting warmer and warmer. The days are getting closer. All right. So stay fired up. Carter, any final thoughts?
Nah, man, just ready to get going, ready to get this NFL draft going. Definitely excited for the offseason to wrap up and for the real thing to begin.
Absolutely. Santiago, what about you, man? What are we thinking? How are we feeling?
Yeah, I can't wait till, the bright lights of Las Vegas shine bright, and we're definitely watching the draft, and and then seeing if anybody that we talked about, like in the during our time of analyzing each position, if we can come up and be like, yep, I selected that player. We said that last week, but that's going to be cool. I can't wait, man, because you know why? Once the draft happens, then that means what comes later on. It's going to be it's going to be coming closer to regular season, man. I can't wait.
Ooh, you had me there on a little cliffhanger, say Tiago. I ain't gonna lie with you that, but hey, most importantly, guys, we're making some optimistic moves so far this offseason. All right, and I got a little thing for y'all right now, a little rhyme to finish it off. Whether we play home or away, I got a good feeling about Tampa Bay. Thanks again, and as always, go Bucs.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.